I need to do something that legitimizes me as a cinematographer. I think people know me as that drone guy who takes pictures of the Capitol, but I don't want to be known just as that. I want to do something big. And that's kind of where I came up with the idea for that Madison video that I made. So Madison, best city ever. Like, I want to create a video that highlights the beauty of this place. When we made that video in June of 2020 and released it, it was crazy. It was like, I can pinpoint like the start of something big right there. Was when we released that video, I was suddenly getting the projects that I wanted to get. And people were seeing me as more than just that drone photo guy. They were seeing me as, this guy can maybe make cool videos.
Welcome back to another episode of the Screw It, Let's Do This podcast. I'm your host, Shelby.
And I'm your other host, Therese. And today, you guys, we have a Madison celebrity in the house. If you've seen any pictures of the Capitol in any sense, that would be the person that took that is here right now. He does a lot of other things. He also does videos and, my gosh, a lot of stuff. So we're just going to pass it over to our special guest today, which is Sam Lee. Or Samueli.
Samueli.
Sam, welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you here. I know you're normally the one behind the camera.
Yeah.
Which is why I think people want to know who Sam Lee really is.
This is what I look like.
This is him, guys.
If you're scrolling off on Instagram, you probably know. But yeah, it's me, Sam Lee, not Samueli.
That's his Instagram name, which is why people apparently call him that.
I get Mr. Ueli a lot.
Mr. Ueli?
Yeah, they're like, "Dear Mr. Ueli." I'm like,
wrong.
No.
That's extremely relatable because people call me and Shelby by our Instagram names too, which I think just kind of comes with it. Like, someone told me that early on, that whatever your screen name is, it's probably going to be what people call you. So it has to be something easy. It can't be like _ that. Like, it has to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a friend. It's like when you have your email, but you make it in like middle school. And then people just make it the dumbest things. I had my friend Sydney, it was her name backwards. It was Sydney backwards was her email. So she had to explain it to people constantly.
Oh gosh.
Why is it that?
Yeah, I wouldn't even, I'm thinking about what that looks
it's that
like.
middle school brain. I don't know.
Man.
You don't know what you're doing then.
Mine was approachable. Sponge Tree 321.
I thought it was God Rocks 49.
I had a lot of accounts. I had Tommy Girl 112.
My favorite is God Rocks 49.
And then I had to switch to God Rocks 101 because that one got hacked.
By who? The devil.
The hackers. The devil.
He hacked that.
What were you, Baker Girl 1?
No, I was Oli 3458.
Your dad's name.
It's not my dad's name.
Bro.
Oli is a common Norwegian name. People call my dad that. And so I wanted, people call me that, my brother that. It's not just my dad.
Okay.
So it's a Norwegian thing, okay?
Well, my dad's name is Tom and my screen name is Tommy Girl, but it's because I was a tomboy. Tom Girl.
Totally.
Whatever you call it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Those are all pretty normal. Mine was all variations. It was got Asian, got milk. Got rid of that one in high school.
I was going to say, where's that? That's not your backup.
My mom quickly reined me in, and
well, you guys, you can get a hold of Sam directly through his DMs because you check those all the time, right?
I do check my DMs.
Oh, you actually do?
I do.
Oh.
I actually don't, because then the people who I haven't responded to will know that I've been ignoring them.
Well, they're probably asking for how to take the perfect photo and video. They probably want, which you were going to do. You know what? Here, before we get into all this stuff, because I know you were going to teach classes at one point too. Can you give our viewers who might not know who you are, which would be the people that aren't in Madison, because everyone in Madison probably knows or has seen your stuff.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Or what the heck?
You better.
Yeah. Dun, dun.
You gave him a look there.
But apart from, tell people who you are besides what I've just explained.
Yeah, so I run a video production company here in Madison. I shoot a lot of travel and tourism and commercial content here. I think I got mainly known, though, by taking pictures of the Capitol.
Amen.
And I've been trying to change that recently, my brand. But that's what I was known for. I think a lot of people know me for that. Is just taking beautiful pictures of Madison, Milwaukee, Midwest cities around here.
You'd wake up at ungodly times.
It really was during the pandemic. I would say I wasn't getting jobs. I had quit Epic, my job at Epic, October 2019. And then 6 months later, the world went crazy. And so it was really just I spent my free time just taking pictures of the city of Madison. And so I'd wake up, sunrises, I would stay up till night and take pictures of the sunset as well because I just had nothing else to do.
Well, in every snowstorm, you were up out there.
I loved
flying a drone, right? You had a drone too.
Yeah,
have a drone.
Yeah. So it's just like how I occupied my time. And, couldn't travel anywhere. Couldn't go to restaurants or bars or hang out with friends. So it was all I'll just take pictures around the city.
Have you always been into photography like that since you were little?
Yeah.
Or
Can we
was there a time that you were like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do?
When I was in middle school, I'd always made these silly little videos on a little point shoot. I made basically I was super into YouTube, but I wasn't into the videography or photography side of things. It was mainly just I enjoyed watching comedy sketches. So I made some of those with my friends and with my brothers because I thought it was hilarious.
Is there a way to find them?
No, I deleted them. I got embarrassed in late high school and deleted all. I really regret it. I deleted all of them from my YouTube.
Just hide them?
Sad, yeah.
I should have just done that. I don't think I knew that was a thing at that time. So I just deleted them because I was so embarrassed. And I really do wish I still had them because they're probably so cringy.
Are you sure they're not somewhere on Vimeo or somewhere?
No, because they're on YouTube.
Vimeo's time,
it was
anyways.
on YouTube, and then I deleted them. But I was always was picking up a camera then. But I think the moment that I got really interested in photo and video was my sophomore year of college at UW when I took a film class and I picked up a camera and we had to film a narrative and then we also had to film a documentary. And it was in that class where I was like, well, this is really fun being able to create something on my own from nothing, with the camera. And so that's when I bought my first camera was my sophomore year in 2015.
What did you go to school for there?
I went to school for communication arts, which is UW's kind of film program, and then strategic communications, which is creative advertising in their journalism school.
Cool. We were there at the same time?
Yeah. Did you guys know each other?
No.
Did you go to the J school or Com Arts?
Wait, what did you call it?
J school.
J school.
J school?
Jason.
Whitewater for life. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, no, I was econ.
Oh, okay.
But we were at the same time, yeah.
Oh, man.
UW is a big school.
Bigger than Whitewater.
Therese.
Yeah, well.
We don't know everyone.
Sam, can we talk about something that I'm really curious about?
Your childhood? Is that what
Your childhood.
Where did you grow up?
Yeah.
So I grew up primarily in Wisconsin, in Appleton, Wisconsin, but I also lived in South Carolina for 2 years.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
I lived in TGK, which is 20, 30 minutes south of Charlotte. So right on the border of South and North Carolina. So I lived there for 2 years, and then I lived in West Virginia for 2 years.
What?
Wait, what? I didn't
why
know
were you
any
down
of this.
there?
I lived with my dad, and then I lived with my mom.
Okay.
So I moved back in with my mom in 5th grade in Appleton. So Appleton is where I grew up most of my childhood, I would say.
Okay, and what were you like as a child?
Troublemaker.
Oh yeah, I was a troublemaker.
Were you actually?
A lot of detention, a lot of I was chatting in class or being disruptive.
Chatty Cathy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I was just, I'm trying to be PG.
What were you, Sam? We're gonna put dolphin noises.
Probably
over.
an asshole. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I could actually wait. Do you think you've grown out of that?
Are you saying I could actually see that?
Okay, let me just. Do you think you're still you have a very sarcastic? At least when I first met you, you were very sarcastic.
Watch your words. He's a guest.
I know. Well, Sam and I are friends from a long time ago, and I think I told you what my perception of you was when I first met you. You were the sarcastic guy, and I was like, do I like this guy?
I think a lot of people. It's really funny. So the first time I meet people, whether I hire them for be part of my crew or I meet them as a client or I just run into random people and I end up developing a relationship with them. A lot of people think I'm very straight edge because it's the personality I put out on social media. And I don't want to be
I don't think you're straight edge.
I think on social media though, I even see that. I feel you're very buttoned up.
I because a lot of the people who watch my stuff are looking at my stuff, and as I've gotten older, I've realized that a lot of those people are potential clients. And so I want to be professional. I don't want to be too goofy. I used to post videos of me hanging out with friends or going out to the bar and being drunk,
Oh, okay.
And it quickly realized in late college that probably wasn't a smart idea. So I really try to be a lot more professional. So I think a lot of people are surprised by the person that they meet in real life sometimes. I am very sarcastic. I love doing bits. And I'm not very serious a lot of the time. But yeah, it's very different from what I might portray on social media.
Yeah, I guess I knew you before I ever saw you on social media. I've told you how Sam and I met, right?
Yeah,
San Francisco.
Let's tell the story.
Yeah, can I tell the story? Or do you want to tell the story?
We went on a work trip together in San Francisco.
I thought you were going to say a date. And I was like,
No,
wait,
well,
did I not
no.
hear that part?
We are married and divorced. Let's not bring that up.
Yeah, it's a touchy subject.
Okay, I
but
won't.
things are fine. Our kids are fine. Oh, sorry.
Our 10 kids are fine.
10 kids.
It was a busy season at Epic. Anyways, so yeah, I actually never say Epic. It's funny that we're Epic. Oh, it feels weird saying our ex work. We worked at together. He started a few months before me. He started in July. I started in September. And we had to go on these training work trips. And so like one popped up in San Francisco and I thought it was so cool. I'm like, sign up. And I was going the very next week. And so many people from that group, it's weird. Like I could go through, I would say half the people from that group ended up like being in my life later on. I met Sam there and Sam was so sarcastic. I was like, who is this guy? He was so sarcastic. And it was the first time I ever tried poke, and it was a whole thing. That trip to San Francisco was fun. I think we all got sushi together. But I remember we went to the actual Bay Area and you had your camera out and you were taking so many pictures. And I was like, who is this guy? He's taking pictures of the bridge. I'm like, what's going on? And then I started following him. And then I remember you quit and you were at my house for a bonfire and you're like, yeah, I just put in my notice. And I was like right out the door after you. I was out 6 months later.
Yeah, I remember the minute I remember around when you had quit, was like, wasn't it like right at the beginning of the pandemic?
Yeah, I put in my notice in February and ended April 1st.
Yeah,
so it was 2 weeks into the pandemic.
I remember like we ran into each other and I was like, how's it going? Because I knew you were going to quit. And you're like, I'm so scared. Like, I don't know what's going to happen.
I know. I actually like longboarded past your house, I think. And then maybe we stopped and talked there. I don't remember, but you reached out to me. Oh, wait, I posted that I was starting a business and you instantly reached out to me and you're like, hey, I would like to make a video for you to help you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't even sold my first product. So there's like I want to say a crusty video, but your video production was so good. I thought it was good, that like quick video, but my hair is like half out right here. I just kind of showed up to his house with like a board and whatnot. But you made me that video and it was awesome. And then you even made me another video, which was like, it's still on my website if everyone goes to
that video is still on my website.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, because it looks, I'll admit the first video I made for you, I thought was pretty terrible.
Wait, the one at your house really quickly?
Not because of you, but because like, I'm just like, this looks awful.
Well, because
like,
I just showed up and we spent we did like 15 minutes doing it.
Yeah, just like, I think I like shouted you out and then I made like a little promotional. I'm just like, hey, like, this is another, person who's kind of doing what I did, quitting their job and taking a leap. Like, go check her out.
Well, and you were the first board I ever made, like, and gave to someone. And I remember you gave me feedback that I think about daily. You said the prosciutto was too much. Like, I have to cut it in half. So now I've cut thousands of pieces of prosciutto. I literally tell everyone in all my charcuterie classes, I'm like, listen, guys, I cut all my prosciutto in half because the first person I gave the board to said, like, that hunk of prosciutto was hard to digest. But I like, you were, I don't know, you helped me get better with that, and you helped get my business out there. And then we got to work later on. Like, then a couple years later, I got a deal with Quick Trip to do, and I was shocked I got it, and I think you were too, because I pitched them a price that I was like, that covered your costs. And I was like, oh, well, that covers mine too. And they said yes right away, but it was to do cooking shows, like we had the charcuterie board, we did chicken salad sandwiches, and then we did crepes and bacon. And it was going to be, we didn't know at the time, but it was going to be on the Quick Trip gas pumps.
Gas station TV, baby.
GSTV, baby.
We made it.
Yeah, we did. That was cool. I mean, but that was like literally 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
It was June of 2 years ago.
Was
but
it 2 years ago?
It took over 6 months for them to actually put it on the film. So I was already like aged another year, but by the time it came out. Anyways.
It was aged another year.
Sam shows up to my house with like 2 other people. They bring like a bazillion cameras. This camera that looked like an anteater. You guys brought a fog machine, lights outside. It was like a gloomy day and it looked like a beautiful sunny day. And I was nervous. I'm like, I'm friends with Sam and all these people here. And I was nervous because like you guys were so professional. You guys had like, Augustine had like, a backpack with like a mic on it. It was nerve wracking. But those turned out incredible. So I got the opportunity to work with Sam and I was impressed. Let's walk through like your history of like some of the projects you've done and like you were more photographer, now you're like videographer.
Yeah.
So
how did it start?
Yeah.
Like, who was your first client and how'd you kind of get into it? And then who's like been your favorite maybe?
Oh, my first client was probably like a wedding. I think that's how a lot of videographers start, is weddings, because it's easy. It's something that almost every person needs filmed, right? It's a big event, so it's a good way to get into it. But yeah, my first client was just weddings. I filmed a wedding for my, I don't even know how this works, my brother-in-law's father. And that was kind of a launching point. And then people were like, oh, can you film my wedding? Can you film for my small business? And so it was like small little things like that, just small projects. And this was in college. And it was like, I was doing a wedding for like $300, which is crazy.
Holy crap.
Do those prices still stand?
I don't do weddings anymore. So
Did
if
you
anybody,
like that? Doing weddings?
no.
No?
I did
Why?
not like doing weddings. And this might be a hot take, but it's a lot of weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, long days. And it's the most important day of those people's lives.
Yeah.
And so the pressure to not mess up, the pressure to get the moment is very high. And honestly, what made me not want to ever do a wedding anymore was a bridezilla. Like, she made the photographer cry.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I deal with a lot of those.
Oh,
For
gosh.
cakes. Oh,
Yeah.
we can go
I bet.
talk
Like,
about that.
She made the photographer cry twice. I was the
Oh.
photographer. No, I'm just joking. But like, legitimately, like, she made the photographer cry. Like, the photographer like wasn't there for half the wedding, and this woman was late, 2 hours to her own wedding, stuff like that. Don't need to rehash those details, but it was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be working towards something that I enjoy, and that it's not such a high stress moment that people who I'm filming can't enjoy it as well. And so I would say, leading into the second part of your question of what's my favorite client, I think my favorite clients are my travel and tourism clients that I have. So right now I'm working on a big project with Destination Madison to create a video that's like the new face of the city. And it's honestly been so amazing because it's been my biggest budget I've ever had. It's been the most planning I've ever had to do. It's been in the city that I've been photographing since I started, since when I picked up a camera. So it's just been amazing to do that, because everyone that has been involved with the project, whether it's the crew, the producers, Destination Madison employees, or just the extras or talent that we need on the days of, like, they're so passionate about being there, about wanting to make the city look the best, about making their small business look the best, that it's just such a fun time to work with them. Even though it might be a long, stressful day at times, everyone's there to make a great video, and that's what really
I can't wait till that
makes me
drops.
happy.
Yeah,
When
wait.
does it come out?
Wait, didn't you already do something? Didn't you already do something like that last year? Was that not? That felt like it was very
You
Madison.
did a Milwaukee one.
I did
didn't
a
you?
Milwaukee. So last year in 2022, I worked with Visit Milwaukee. I worked with Destination Door County. I worked with Visit San Antonio
Oh,
and Pure
ooh,
Michigan. So I was able to do. I was able
San
to do.
Antonio,
Yeah.
the home of my old customer for our old job.
Do you just reach out, or like, do they find you, kind of thing?
So it's different as you start getting more established as a cinematographer, as a director. Agencies will start to reach out to you. They're like, hey, we have this production that we want to put together. Like, can you come help out? And so I'll act as a production company at times, or in the case of like Visit San Antonio and Pure Michigan, they reached out to me as a director and cinematographer
Wow. Oh my
to
gosh.
join the project. So it was through another ad agency, Beautiful Destinations. Their clients were Pure Michigan and Visit San Antonio. And I was able to fly out to each of those for a week and help out on those projects.
That's
Oh my gosh.
awesome.
Dang, you did that all this last year?
Yeah, in 2022. And then in 2023, like, this year has been absolutely wild. So I went to Greece for the same agency. I went out to Greece and for a week and shot with them.
I thought that was just vacation.
No,
Yeah,
that was
those
for a
were weird.
project. Yeah.
That was a paid vacation.
Sam,
Yeah.
you little
Oh.
dog.
So
If
that
you
was,
ever need
yeah.
help, like, I'm good at like holding things.
Yeah, she can do cakes and
I'll
like,
be a
baked
mule.
goods. I'm perfect.
I'll pack
Be a
up.
mule.
I can
Hey,
make sure everyone's fed.
I'm always on set being like, we need a mule right now. We need someone.
Hey, I'll be a mule.
But yeah, I went to Greece. That was super fun. I've been working on these 12 days of shooting for Destination Madison. Some fun commercial projects with like Cellcom. It's been just like, so this year has been the busiest year ever for me.
Isn't that crazy? How I feel like it keeps getting busier though.
Absolutely.
year.
I think I'm just like legitimizing myself as a business, as like a professional now. And I think it's changed now. Like, people saw me as a guy who photographed the Capitol. No,
Yeah.
just a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And now that I'm starting to work with some of the larger names, like in 2022, people are starting to understand that might be what I started off doing, but it's not what I'm doing now. And so that's been a huge step in 2023 for me, is to like really focus on the cinematography and directing aspect of my career rather than just photographing Madison and the city around me.
So you felt like after 3 years, things really took off in the direction you wanted it to go.
I think, yes. I think after 3 years, after the pandemic, the real heart of it ended, I I went out of it wanting to legitimize myself. I think during the pandemic, I had been building myself a following on Instagram because, again, I had very little work. I wanted something to do. I can't sit with idle hands. I was like, I'm going to go out and take pictures of the places around me in Wisconsin. Once the pandemic started subsiding, I was like, I need to do something that legitimizes me as a cinematographer. I think people know me as that drone guy who takes pictures of the Capitol, but I don't want to be known just as that. I was making, a good living during the pandemic off of prints and whatever side work I could get. But I said, as soon as this ends, I want to do something big. And that's kind of where I came up with the idea for that Madison video that I made. So Madison, best city ever.
Yes.
I was like, I've just spent a year and a half sitting in this city, and I still love it. I want to create a video that highlights the beauty of this place. And so I ended up meeting another creative. His name is Ian, and he was an FPV pilot. He was starting out. He wanted to get into video as well, more legitimately. He's an FPV pilot, which is, if people don't know, is first-person view drones. You wear goggles on your head. It's like you're playing, a VR game, but you're seeing the view of the drone as you're flying.
Oh, that's
so
sick.
cool.
Yeah, the difference.
If you run into something, you're like,
Oh, that's crazy.
The difference between an FPV drone and a regular drone is that an FPV drone is full manual. Think of like a drift car versus a Toyota Camry. Those are the two differences. One is you can do these crazy flips and acrobatics. You can go 100 miles per hour. And the other one is more smooth, cinematic.
Wait, and which one is Ian? The second
Ian is
one?
an FPV pilot.
Is that the first or the second one?
That is the drift car. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is the very exciting,
Yes.
dynamic, fast drone. And I had seen this stuff in larger markets, in larger production companies utilizing FPV drones. I'm like, this is perfect. I want you to work with me on this project. And so I produced this Madison best city ever video. I wanted things that were quintessential Madison that weren't UW. I wanted things that people were like, this is what makes the city great. So I found dancers. I found
That was so cool.
wakeboarders.
I love
and I
the
found
dancers.
Yeah.
an artist that I knew, Liu Triangulator. He's a muralist. But anyways, I was trying to find what was quintessential Madison that was dynamic, exciting, stuff that we could utilize FPV drones and the kind of filmmaking techniques that I liked, which was a lot of handheld movement, much faster. I didn't want to I try to stay away from smooth gimbal shots or anything too cinematic. I wanted it to be super exciting. I wanted people to walk away feeling super excited about their city. And when we made that video in June of 2020 and released it, it was crazy. It was I can pinpoint the start of something big right there was when we released that video. I think it's now sitting at above 10,000 likes on Instagram. It got probably over 300,000 views across all platforms, and it launched me and Ian's career into a new era. I was suddenly getting the projects that I wanted to get, and people were seeing me as more than just that drone photo guy. They were seeing me as, this guy can maybe make cool videos. And so I was getting hired out by a ton of companies and businesses that wanted new things. And I wanted to keep the ball rolling. I wanted to keep doing this. So I decided to make another piece of spec work. And spec work, for people who don't know, is speculative work. It's a very common thing in the video industry to make spec work to show potential clients what you're capable of.
So you're not getting paid for that work.
You're not getting paid. It's a passion project because a lot of the time the client's not going to be like, I'm not going to pay you $20,000 to make a video when I can hire this guy for $5,000. But then you make a video that is worth $20,000. You put the time and energy and effort into it, and you can be like, this is why you pay that premium of a price. It's because this is what we can make you. And so that's what the power of spec work is. It can showcase your abilities as a creative without needing a client to pay you to do it. So I wanted to do, I had seen the success of the Madison video and I wanted to continue that. So I reached out to a guy that I knew in college at UW. His name was Nations. And he was another DP, a director of photography from Minneapolis. And I was like, hey, I want to make another video, but about a city, a larger city than Madison. And would you want to help me out on this? Because I don't know the city that well. He's like, yeah, I'll help you out. So he became the director. I was the DP. director of photography. So they're the same director of photography, cinematographer. They're interchangeable.
Okay.
So DP, cinematographer.
Jeez, we need a dictionary for this
Yeah.
episode.
Let's write them up here.
Yeah, that would be kind of funny. But no, we got it.
So DP is responsible for all of like the creative look of a video. So they're in charge of camera movements, the lighting, etc. They're the ones when you're looking at something, it's because of the DP and the director working together to make something.
Yeah, you guys are, I mean, I've seen, obviously you do it and Mr. Producer, you guys are very like, this is what we should do. It's very decisive and like you do really curve the direction of anything. It's
a special talent.
It's a special talent.
It's
like
not
it's
for
seriously, I never really understood what a director did until I kind of got directed. I remember when we did the quick trip video, I would do like a take and you'd be like, more energy, go.
Yeah, and it's like so on a smaller set, a DP and a director, they'll be the same person. So they'll be doing the same job. But as you get to a larger and larger project, there's so many moving parts where you're directing not just one person maybe on screen, but you're directing one main talent, but then 10 extras. And then so you're having to make sure that the DP is getting the right camera movement, but also that everyone on screen is doing the right thing. So the director is really seeing that overarching picture, while the DP can really hone in on like, what lens, what lighting do I need?
Oh my gosh.
How should I move the camera? So it's all about this like special, as you get to a larger and larger set, it's just all about this specialization of roles. So it starts to get very nuanced. But anyway, so I reached out to Nations because he was another, creative. And I was like, do you want to make a video about Minneapolis? We did that. That went even bigger than the Madison video.
I don't think I saw the Minneapolis one.
Well, you need to go see it.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Okay, yeah. I'll have to check.
So this Minneapolis video, it got like, I don't know, like 250,000 views just on Twitter. I think overall it did 500,000 views across platforms. And I was like, oh my God. And then that project changed, even more about my career. Like more people were like, oh,
Wow.
You did a second one that was great. Like, and I reached a totally different market in Minneapolis.
Yes.
They're like, come do this video for us. Let's do this idea. And then the third big spec piece that I made was the winter in Wisconsin one, the same year, where I was like, let's just do one for the whole state of Wisconsin across the whole winter. Let's go even bigger and better than before. And that one was probably my favorite piece out of the three. And again, those three pieces of spec work really changed the trajectory of my career in terms of how people, I think, started to see me as a creative.
Mm-hmm.
So you end up leaving Epic in 2019 before the pandemic. You leave, do you have a plan worked out?
Yeah. So, I mean, going out of college, I was making, some money as a freelancer in college, but only like $20,000 to $30,000 a year. Not enough for me to be comfortable doing that full time out of college. So I was like, let me do a regular job, see how that goes. So I applied at Epic and worked there for just under a year and a half. I think I could say this now because people are like, I'm far enough away, but I was like taking sick days to go shoot videos. I would just leave the office at like 1 to go shoot a video.
Bye.
Or I would sit in my office and
You
I
were
would just
fearless. I would have been way too scared to do that.
I knew I didn't want to stay there long term, that it was just a way to build, savings. And so I was editing in my office.
I remember you saying that and I was like, how? I have no time to even eat. Like
I would just say no. Like to projects. They'd be like, my boss would be like, well, can you take this on? You're only working like 40 hours a week. I was like, first of all, 40 hours is a very normal
It's a full
amount.
week. Yeah.
And no, I don't want to do any more work. So it was
I'm
like,
such a yes girl. It was a problem.
I was like, I have so much other work. So I was like between Epic and my freelancing while I was working there, it was like 70 hours a week, probably. I was, trying to juggle both. Weekends I was doing shoots, nights I was doing shoots. I was taking sick days, vacation days to go do shoots. And so I was getting to a point where it was starting to get more and more consistent where I was like, I think I could quit. And I waffled on it for so long. I would go back and forth. I'd be like, is this the right decision for me to quit? Should I stay longer and build, a larger amount of savings? Or can I just take the leap? And I was like, eventually I was just like,
Screw it. Let's do this.
I said, screw it. Let's do this. And I quit Epic and I decided to go full time into video. And the 6 months between October 2019, 6 months? Yeah, 6 months between October 2019 and March 2020 was great. I was getting new clients. People were coming out to me with really exciting projects. I was like, this is awesome. This is exactly how I planned it. And then obviously in March of 2020, everything kind of shut down. Clients who had previously said, let's do this project, they're like, we don't know the direction of where this pandemic is heading. let's pause. And so that's when really I was like, did I make the right decision? But again, that's when I really was like, I'm not going to just idly sit by and like wait for clients to come in. I'm going to do something with my time. And that's where I started taking photos of Madison and traveling to places that I could go take photos of. So, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Door County. I started going to all these places to try to capture the beauty of Wisconsin and the Midwest. And I got honestly really excited about it. And I went from like at the time I was maybe, when I quit Epic, around 7,000 followers. Within the first, couple months of the pandemic, I had reached 10,000. And then I started surpassing that with my photos. So I was like, oh, people are really relating to this. So I kept doing it. And suddenly I was at, sitting where I'm at now, 32-ish thousand followers on Instagram.
33, I saw.
33-ish thousand followers on Instagram. And it's like, wow, people have really identified with me taking photos of the places that they're familiar with. And I think I've always heard people come up to me on the street if I'm carrying my camera on. People are like, "Are you Sam?" And they'll just say like the nicest things, like, "I've never looked at Madison that way before, or Milwaukee that way before."
Wait, can I ask a question? Were you walking on like the John Nolan path in the past like month?
Probably,
because I passed someone that looked like you that had a camera, and I rolled down my window and screamed your name, and nothing. So I was like,
I might have had AirPods in. I don't know.
Yeah, it probably was you. How many guys are walking around with a camera?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I was like, I don't know if he still goes around and walks around taking pictures of things though.
Maybe in the past month. I don't know. The past month has been really busy. So maybe not me. Maybe you just yelled at a random Asian guy.
Oh, no. Whatever.
Which has happened before. I've had people come up to me that are Asian. They'd be like, I was holding a camera. Someone's like, "Are you Sam?" And they're like, "No." And the person was like, "Oh," like visibly disappointed and walk away.
Oh my gosh. Well, you could do that too if you don't want to talk. Are you Sam? No.
I'm not.
You could get all mad about it too. You could be like, you think you know me?
But it's like, it's amazing to hear that from people. Like, and that's, I think, what kept me going. I would run into people while I was out, in 2020, 2021, and they'd be like, "It's so amazing what you're doing. Like, you made me go visit this place I've never visited before." Or now I look at, Madison in a totally different light. Like, I love this city so much. And it's great to hear that kind of stuff. And people really latch on to that. And I like really love that too. Like, I love Madison, which is why I started taking photos in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Wait, I have a question for you. How did you keep your head above water financially when the pandemic happened and all your shoots and everything got paused? Like, what did you do? I think I know what you did, but I want to hear it.
I started selling my body. Exactly. You are exactly right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, didn't you make like a fake OnlyFans account for April Fool's?
Let's not talk about
that. Was... yeah, is that still on your page? It was like you made this huge video for an April Fool's joke.
I deleted that like April 2nd. I was like, that was funny. I don't want this on my page anymore.
Oh my gosh, but that's your humor though, where it's like you think it's serious and then it's like, oh, that was a joke. Okay.
Yeah. But when the pandemic hit and I was not getting client work anymore, it was like I was going on Fiverr or
Fiverr. Okay, can you explain what Fiverr is for people?
It's like OnlyFans, but no, it's not. Okay, so I would go on Fiverr and I would like basically be like, I am a freelancer who will edit your photos and videos online. So it's basically somewhere you can go online and just find a whole network of freelancers, whether it be graphic designers, voiceover artists, editors, whatever have you. So I would go into places like that.
People would charge between what, like $5 and thousands of dollars on websites.
Probably not
like
thousands of dollars. It's much more like people are just looking for a quick fix. Like I want a quick logo. I'm going to go find someone on Fiverr. So I would be like, I'll edit whatever you want. Just reach out to me. I was editing like real estate videos. Like,
oh my God.
I went back to like editing weddings and trying to get wedding work. It was like, I was very worried the first, from March to October, I was like very stressed out about how I was.
You didn't seem worried when I talked to you though.
I mean, I had the nest egg from Epic. So I knew I wasn't in any like real financial trouble. It was more like, how can I stay successful in this new era of my life and not regret the fact that I quit my safe job that I had a salary at and benefits. It was like these odd jobs. And I was like, I really hate this. How else can I make money? And that's when I realized with people latching onto my photography, they were like, can I buy this? Can I like hang this on my wall? And so I spent a good amount of time during the pandemic kind of revamping my website to make it a better e-commerce platform, working with a web designer to help me build out, this marketplace and really pumping out the idea that I I was now, selling prints.
You sold prints like hardcore.
I made like 50 grand. I netted 50 grand in that year, 2020.
With
just from prints.
Just prints.
Yeah.
Just prints.
You sold me. I'm part of that.
yeah. Like,
and all my roommates were too.
Like, and I feel comfortable saying that because people, I think, don't realize how lucrative these side gigs can be. Like, selling prints is not my full-time gig. I don't, and nowadays it's definitely not something I advertise as much anymore.
yeah, you used to push them all the time. Like,
exactly, because it was something that supplemented my income when I was unsure of what my future looked like.
Yes.
But it was just like so incredibly helpful for me as a creator to have some source of sustainable income where I didn't have to like worry day to day about what was going to happen. Like, and it was amazing to have. And like, I remember like Big Cat from Barstool retweeted one of my tweets. That day I like was looking at my phone. I made like $7,000. I was like, oh my God.
I'm about to throw charcuterie into the,
I was like,
the towel.
I'm like, this is what's possible. I'm like, you see all those like YouTubers or whatever, like selling merch. Like now, like this is like a fraction of what they make.
Yes.
It's just like so successful.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was like really just, it helped me so much during that time because I was really unsure with what was going to happen. But nowadays things have changed. Like I'm now able to say I'm running a successful video production company. So I'm able to do different things with those prints. Like during Christmas of last year, I was like, I'm going to donate 25% of all the profits to just nonprofits in Wisconsin. Cause like, I don't need all this money. And that was like really fun. People were like, really excited to do it, and people were suggesting these nonprofits I could donate to, and I was like looking at all of them. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, I'm glad I can do something like that for the community. I don't advertise the prints as much nowadays. It's because even though I might still be selling them, it's not what I want to focus on. I think I started getting to a point where I was like pitching to clients, and they'd be like, I would feel in the meetings that they didn't trust me or they didn't like believe that I was capable of doing this project. So I don't know. There's like maybe a handful of client meetings that I sat in and I was like, they don't think I can do this. And I was like, I would get pissed off. I was like, I would walk away from those meetings pissed off. I was like, I know I can do it better than the video production company they're going to end up hiring. And then that's what really led me to make those 3 spec pieces that I talked about, was because like having those clients say no to me, having the feeling that they didn't trust me or believe in me or whatever it was, like it just lit a fire. Like in me, I was like, I need to prove that I'm capable. And that's really what 2022 and 2023 has been all about.
Like drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode over. Wow.
Do you have big clients coming up that you can share for maybe this year or next year? I don't know how far you book out.
Yeah. Very recently, I just had like my first big commercial shoot, and it was super exciting because I've never had the budget to like do the things that I did in this shoot. So again, I talked about the specialization of roles once you get to a larger set. So you'll have a DP, a director of photography, and then on bigger sets, sometimes they don't even touch a camera. A camera operator will be operating the camera. And then you'll have what's called a first AC, an assistant camera. They're the ones pulling focus. So there's a wireless follow focus that moves on the camera, and the first AC is sitting there watching a monitor, and he'll pull focus to make sure everything's in focus as you're moving.
This is nuts.
So it's like suddenly I'm able to have these budgets where I can, like, I'm not the director and the DP and the first AC and the producer and the production designer. I'm able to start hiring out these roles and build out a larger crew where I can now focus just on the creative or just focus on the directing. I'm able to rent cinema glass, like really nice lenses for my camera, and hire out lighting crews to make my ideas come to life. And it's like so cool to now have these unlocked with these like larger commercial budgets that I'm just like, it's been a dream come true. And the goal is just for those to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. What's your dream goal? Like Mount Rushmore of projects you could possibly have?
I think the dream project that I could possibly have is like a lot of the travel and tourism stuff I do is still mid-grade budget wise. It's still pretty scrappy. Like I would say it's not the full budget that I would want to unlock. Like I think the biggest thing would just be have a commercial sized budget for a travel and tourism piece. That's really what I want to have. I'll say right now, I want to have at least like $30,000 for each day of production. I think that would be
day?
each
And
day.
how many days does a shoot like this take?
maybe a week. So like I would love to have 200 grand to work with for like a week long shoot. I think that would be a dream come true.
Lord.
You'd be
Holy
surprised how fast that money disappears.
Well, I guess if you have a whole team of all these people doing all these different roles.
Yeah, because I'm not
Plus the
the
cost
only
of
one.
food.
Yeah, I'm
To
not
feed
the
them.
only one getting paid here. Like I'm
yeah.
hiring out a crew of like up to 10 people, right? Who are all, this is their full-time job to do that
That
thing.
makes sense.
And so I'm paying out them. I'm starting to pay out talent. I'm starting to pay out permits, insurance, payroll, all these different things that you start to need to think about. Producers, like it's crazy where the money goes. Like it goes everywhere, like all these different places. It disappears fast. But it's fun to do that because you're like, oh my God, I'm able to make my idea come to life because I have the budget to do it. And that's all I want.
Would you want to do like commercials and like regular commercials for products or places that aren't travel and tourism? Like, are you open to that, or you want to niche down to?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in like the yes phase, I guess, of my career. I'm just trying to say yes to every big project that comes my way, no matter what it is. And I think it's because I'm trying to figure out what I truly like. I would absolutely love to do commercials because, again, I'm trying to say yes to everything. I think why I really love travel and tourism, though, is because I'm not trying to sling a product that I might not believe in, right? I'm trying to promote the people of a place or the small business. Like every tourism project I go on, we work with small businesses, actual people who live there. And it's like so much more fun in my mind to work with that kind of project because everybody like wants to be there. Everyone's really passionate and I can believe and get excited about that rather than just be like, this is like a Nike commercial. Like, here's buy a shoe. Like I think that's a big change in how a lot of brands are advertising nowadays. It's like more about like a feeling. Like they want that commercial to make you feel something.
Isn't
They're
that
not just
ethos? Is that the word?
Sure. Instead of be like, look at this shiny new product. And it's like, I think Apple commercials, like, I don't want to make that kind of stuff where it's like an iPhone, like sexy iPhone. You're like, oh yeah.
Oh my
I want to buy that. Like, I don't want that. I would rather have like, you're highlighting someone's story who is doing something really cool in the world. And it might be sponsored by Apple or Nike or whoever it might be, but it's not about the product. It's about that person's story. And that's what I think I'm more interested in is like that storytelling aspect.
Would you ever do a movie?
Oh,
I think movies, I get this question a lot from friends and family. And I think it's a whole nother world. Like narrative, short films, it's a world I'm unfamiliar with. And so I'd probably say no, just because I have no experience in that aspect. I think a documentary would be really cool. But movies, narratives, I think those are more things for like a large market like Chicago, LA, New York, not necessarily in Madison, Wisconsin.
so how do you balance being a creative while also making money?
I think I'm starting to get to a stage where I'm wondering the same thing because it's like I'm saying yes to so many projects and like this summer I've been on 6 shoot days back to back to back to back to back. It's 12 to 14 hour days, including prep, driving, shooting that I'm doing. I'm, going to bed and waking up and then just shooting. And it's like, is this what I want to do? And like right now I'm grinding, right? I'm trying. The grind never stops. No, but like I'm grinding. I'm trying to prove myself, right? But at some point I know that I'm going to get burnt out. And I think I don't need to be like, there's a limit to how much money I need to make before I'm like very comfortable with my life. And that's where I just start to only take projects that I care about. And I think I'm reaching a point very soon where that's going to happen, where I'm like, I don't want to be doing this all anymore. I don't want to be doing the projects that I'm not really passionate about. And I can start to turn them away. I think that's a rare thing for a lot of creatives to be able to do. And I think it's really awesome that I'm starting to get to a place where I can do that. And yeah, it's definitely something I'm constantly thinking about nowadays.
Gosh, I can definitely see like when I first started my business, I was saying yes to every single thing, even if it was not even charcuterie and cheese. It'd be like, hey, can you make a s'mores box? And I'd be like, sure. I'd be like, sure, yeah. How much are you? This is what I would do it for. And they'd be like, yeah, and I would just do it. But I have been, I like anytime I get a really complicated request or I can tell someone's super picky, sometimes I just send them to a competitor right off the bat. And it feels so good to be able to do that.
Or you, and I think we're giving away all the secrets here, or you charge higher. You're like, I'm just going to charge a double. And they say yes, then more money for me. And I don't know, it justifies it. But like, it's getting to a point, like you get so busy, it's like, it's not even worth it anymore. You just turn them away.
Yeah.
And I do that quite a bit where I just say no, or I refer them to someone else that I know because I don't think it fits what I want to do anymore.
Yeah. I feel like you're good at that though. Cause I remember asking, I was like, hey, we've got a friend, like she might want to do a video. This is her budget. You'd be like, hey, that isn't going to work with me, but here's some people that would. And I mean, you're still helping the customer hopefully get what they want, but you're not the one.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people just like don't understand. Like there's so many different facets of video production, like of what people can do. And so they're just like, hey, like I need to film this lecture that I'm doing and to have it cut up into 20 TikTok videos. Can you do that for me? I'll give you $1,500. And I'm like, that's not something I do at all. I appreciate you reaching out, but here's maybe some other people that might better like do that kind of work and might be a better fit for you. But then you get a lot of people that just try to lowball you too. And I think that's where I get a little snippy.
Yeah. Like how do you constantly, demand your worth as a creative? It's hard to kind of sometimes like put a dollar sign on something that you are making. I don't think, based on what I know about you, I don't feel like you struggle with that, but is that something you've had to work up to like demand your worth or set your prices and stay true to them?
I would say in 2023, that's less rare. In 2022 and before, it was very common. People were really like, what's your price for this? I'll tell them my day rate. And they'd just be like, I know people who do that for half that. I was like,
they're so spicy.
I get
I'm
that
like,
too
cool.
sometimes.
That's because they're worse at it than I am.
Were you going to say that's because they're dumb?
I don't know. But like they say that because they're accustomed to like that price. And I'm just like, I am not that type of creative. Like I'm starting to become a commercial cinematographer, a legitimate cinematographer and director. Like I don't do like the type of level of production that you might be looking for. And a lot of people are very like nice about it. And if they're nice about it, I'll be nice about it. But I get it. Yes, a lot of people are very insulting about it. They're like, I see you like trying to sell prints. You're begging for money out there.
My gosh.
Like I've had some
That's so
I've had
cringy.
some people like do that kind of thing. Like I see you begging for money for like, cause I started a Patreon for a little bit.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I see you begging for money online. Like you're in no place to negotiate. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Oh,
like,
that's so awkward.
So you get some interactions like that, but I think it's like, it was all about like, that made me angry. That like drove me to be like, okay, like I need, like they're seeing what I post on social media. That's the only part of me that they're seeing. I need to start legitimizing myself on there. And, that's why I've been doing more of what I've been doing of just trying to post like, look at the projects I've been working on. Look at this cool piece I've worked on, not just look at this beautiful picture, go buy a print of it. Because I think people get a different, think differently depending on what you post.
I remember people would always try to negotiate back in the day with me too. And I would kind of like entertain it. But now at this point, I don't. It's like, this is my price. This is all I'm willing to do it for. And sometimes people are so persistent. They'll call me. I'll say no. They'll email me. I'll say no. They'll send their husbands. Then I'm really mad. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then it's always like, can you do less quality products? Can you do less of things? And it's like, well, if I run out of food, that looks bad on me. And it's like, oh my gosh. So it's funny because like, although we're in very different businesses, and I'm sure you can.
I get the same thing. I just had someone want me to do a wedding cake and I was like, this is what it would cost. And they were like, well, that's like double what we wanted to spend. What can we do to bring the price down? I said, there's nothing we can do to bring the price down. You can go to these people. And they were like, well, no, let's change the filling. I'm like, that'll take $5 off. Like that's,
Yeah.
And so I just recommend, and that happens all the time. And I feel like they get frustrated with me too. And it's like, you don't have to work with me. Like there's other places you can go.
No, I say that all the time. Like I think we're all starting to be in positions where we're now starting to become the more powerful one. We are the one that have a lot of clients. Like we don't need everyone's business anymore. Like we can turn people away. And I say that to a lot of people who are starting out their small business or, more relevant to me who are just starting to, be creatives and do stuff. And they crumple under the client's ask. They're like, oh, sure.
I used to. Same,
like,
yeah,
they give
we
in.
both
And
used to.
I used to give in too. And it's like, I always tell them like, no, know your worth. If someone tries to negotiate, that's like in a demeaning way or like a way off way, like say no, because not only are you like protecting yourself as a creator and like standing your ground, you're also like protecting that next person that they reach out to. Cause they'd be like, well, Sam just did this project for 300. Why can't you do it for 300? It's like you're screwing over or making it worse for every other person out there who's doing the same thing. So like stand your ground, know your price, be confident, and it just makes the whole ecosystem better for everybody.
Yeah, wow. It's just so hard because like at the beginning even you making those videos for spec, it's like sometimes you do have to have something, whether you're making it for a client for maybe a lower price or doing it on your own for free to like show. I think you have to like, how do people show their value if they're just starting off? It's either they have to make stuff on their own or, make stuff for cheaper too. Like,
yeah, like definitely like you need to prove yourself if you're going to get to like the positions where, we might be in. Like, yeah, definitely. There are a lot of times where I'm just like, I'll do that for free or a reduced price because I think that's really cool. And I want to be a part of that project. Or like the project I did with you, like I shot with you. It's like, I see this as an opportunity where I can kind of show off a little bit more of my skills and I get to help out.
Yeah, you brought the heat.
Yeah.
You brought the heat.
And I get to help out you as someone who's in a very similar position to where I was, where I had just quit. I took a leap of faith and it's like, cool, I want to support you and do that. But you didn't ask me for that.
No, you reached out to me and that was like the best thing. So Sam, there's one other thing that you said earlier on in the pod where I wanted to hit back on because it hit close to home for me. And I think based on our conversation, Shelby, also you, but you said like after that 3-year mark, you felt like you started to legitimize yourself. And like, I feel that same way. I'm at 3.5 years now, which is kind of wild to think about. You're at 4, you're at 4.5, Shelby?
Yeah.
Yeah. And things feel different. Like we're opening up our brick and mortars. You're doing these huge projects that you always wanted to do. And I just think that's interesting because I felt that in the past like yearish, I feel like things have really shifted from this like cute little small business that I'm grinding on all the time to where I can pay people to help me or it's not all on my shoulders. And even the way you described it where you're not having to act as all of these people on a production or directing or videography, what all your terms. I just thought that was cool because I feel like they're really, I don't know what it is, but why? I think I'm going to answer my own question, you guys. After 3 years, if you're working on something like 50 hours a week, I think that's when you get to, is that the 10,000 hour mark where they say you're an expert in something? Someone do the math.
I don't know if you're reaching 10,000 hours quite yet.
Wait, I feel like
I've seen your grazing table.
No, okay, no. I seriously think I calculated because I'm working like 50 hours a week.
No, but it's because you're starting to do it so much, so often that you are learning so much more. You now have that knowledge base and you have that confidence where you can be like, I know what I'm doing now. I'm not struggling to make ends meet or struggling to find out where my business is heading or what I'm trying to do with this business. Like, you have a storefront. You're opening a storefront. Like, I'm working on a big project. Like, it's legitimate now. Like, we're legitimate businesses. And I think a lot of people get thrown off because of the age thing. But it's just like, no, we're like, this is legitimate now. And you step back and you take a second, you're like, whoa, like,
how did this all just like?
I have a hard time like remembering that I'm legit now because like I really do. Like, people will bring it up and be like, oh my gosh, congrats, like I'm so excited for you, and I'm like I just have to like kind of like make myself like feel like I'm putting on my big girl pants because I still feel like I'm out of my parents' house baking cookies for like my neighbor. Like, I'll never forget that.
It doesn't feel like any different. I feel that because your head's down and you're still grinding the same amount, but you're like, my grind 3 years ago was like making 10 charcuterie boards. Now it's feeding like 1,000 people in a week. But the grind, they say it never gets easier. You just go further. Like, that's how I feel. Even with working out, I'm like, when will running a mile be easy? And it's like, you just like keep increasing, like pushing yourself in different ways. And it never really feels easier. I don't know if it feels easier for you, but you go further.
Yeah. I just did.
Yeah. People are just seeing that you're doing those more legitimate things that I think legitimizes what you're doing in their eyes.
Yeah, I like forget. I just did an interview for a magazine and she was like asking me all these questions and I was like, oh yeah, I did that. And then she's like, oh, you have this business, and this business. And I was like, yeah, I do have 3. And I was like, I just don't really think of myself in like, oh, look at everything I've done. But then when other people like that will bring it up, I'm like, oh yeah, I actually am doing a good job.
Yeah, because you're like, it's
so you have to like kind of break out of the like,
you have
I'm
to
in
go
this
up
bubble.
And take a breath of air and be like, wow, I actually did go farther than I thought. It's kind of a weird feeling. But
so I don't know. Absolutely. We're all close to the same. I feel like
we really are.
We're at, kind of.
No, it's like why I was excited to do this because it's like we're all like I've seen Therese, kind of start from nothing.
One. Yeah.
And like now she's, starting to develop her storefront. And it's just like been crazy. I was like, whoa, like Shelby got her own storefront and she's been like running it successfully. Like, that's crazy. Like, it's amazing what can just happen. And it's like, I don't know your story of like how you started, but it's like weird how
out of my college apartment.
Yeah, how that
UW.
trajectory
And
can
she's
go.
thinking about location too. I mean, Shelby and I both have similar dreams of like multiple locations down the line. Yeah, it's kind of wild. Ugh, it's really cool.
I feel old now.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
I'm
wait, how old are you?
26.
I'm 27.
27.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
old as shit now too.
Okay.
Like I like people. I'll have people talk to me, and I just did a talk at UW.
Oh.
I was a guest lecturer for a class.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
For like a video class?
for like an
Okay.
intro to digital video class, and I was like talking to them. I was like, "Yeah, I just graduated in 2018." And I was like, I heard a like they're like, "That guy's old."
No.
That guy's old as shit.
Are you serious?
But no, like it was just like I was like, it wasn't that long ago
Yeah.
when I was sitting in the same exact like seats that you're sitting in. Like it doesn't feel that long ago to me. And it's like, what? When I was in college, 2018.
But I think the panini stop time.
Panini.
We don't, yeah, I just call it, it's too hard.
But like
to
my
say.
employees now are like, yeah, I was born in 2008. I'm like,
Wait, no, they're not, Shelby.
swear. I just
15?
talked to one. Yeah, I have 15-year-olds. And so
Can
I
we get a
hear
child
that and
labor
I'm
Yeah,
like,
can we
listener?
can we get someone to check in on Shelby?
go ahead, check on them. They're fully, I
2000.
got their work permits. I got everything I need to have. But yeah, I have like 2 15-year-olds and they tell me that. And I'm like,
2000.
I was 11. Like that just shocks me.
No, it's crazy. Like we're starting to get to a point where like we're like the mentors in some way, where it's like the people getting into it, and it's like, yeah, I feel old from that. I'm like,
Yeah, but I have to remind myself that we're actually very young for what we're doing.
I get that. I'm like, I'll be like, because I just turned 27 last week, and I'll get people
happy
be like,
birthday.
well, you didn't text me that.
You
Therese.
didn't have a party this year. Where was it? You
Oh,
did
you
have
just
one?
weren't invited.
Oh, that's
I was
I'm
going to
just
say,
kidding.
you probably
I
did.
I was
have
going to
one.
say, because I was
didn't have one.
invited 2 years ago.
I had a shoot on my birthday.
Oh, hey, I worked on my
So,
birthday too. I
I
feel
was
that.
working. I was away from home. I didn't even get to spend it with my girlfriend.
Oh,
But-
shut up. Sam, one of the most, well, I have a lot of memorable moments with you, but one of the things that I think back to that I'm really grateful for was when you came over to my house right when I said that I was starting my business. You texted me, you're like, hey, can I make you a video? But you came over and you like gave me a crash course on Instagram. You taught me hashtags. And I feel old saying that because like Twitter, there were always hashtags, but it wasn't used the same way. You taught me so many things. You just hit like 10,000 followers, but you taught me so many things that I felt like helped me grow. Do you still feel like you're an Instagram guru? And if you are, do you have some tips?
I feel like social media has definitely been put on the back burner for me. I like nowadays I post like once or twice a month, but like I still think the principles ring true. It's like the one thing I always share, and I think like I shared information with you, but I love to share information with like anybody I interact with. Like I want people who are passionate to succeed. Like I want to give them the tools to succeed. And if they can, like, I just want to give them the best probabilities to do so. And so if you're like someone out there, if you have a small business, if you're trying to be a creative, the best thing that you can do is post about it, share about it. Nobody's going to know what you're doing unless you share it. And I think that's the one principle I constantly say. It doesn't matter how shitty you are at social media or how bad you might be on camera. Like, just share, because people will reach out to you. They'll be curious. And if you are truly interested in that part of your career and social media, you'll get better at it. And the lessons I always will say is like, I think the ones I gave to you is like, make your stuff relevant to the niche that you want to hit. Don't be too broad. Don't be that person who's like, I want to be a travel blogger. And like everyone wants to be a travel blogger. It's like, choose a specific niche thing that you think you can hone in on and just go for it. And that's like the best thing I could say is just like, keep sharing. Eventually something will happen. The right person will see what you're doing. Your reel will go viral. Whatever it might be, just keep sharing. Even if it's not on social media, email people. Be like, hey, look what I've done. If you're a videographer, send your videos out. Be like, look what I've made. And maybe that agency, that production company, that client will hire you. I can't tell you, like, I've landed some big clients that way. It's like, just look at what I've done. And I just email it to them. And they don't follow me on social media, so they don't know. But I've gotten clients from that. It's amazing, like, what just the power of sharing will do.
Yeah. I mean, even like that quick trip video, like I sent them a video pitch of me pitching the idea.
Exactly.
And I set everything up for them. I even got you on lock, before they said yes. So to like show up like, hey, this is something I can do for you guys. And for them to just say yes, like could take like a big burden off of them. And they're like willing to cut the check sometimes. But also hashtags. Use hashtags, people. Let me tell you what you told me. You said use big hashtags and small hashtags because you were trending and like, if you hashtag Madison, Wisconsin, you were like always trending.
Yeah.
In that. But like
no, for sure.
in the bigger ones, sometimes. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And the social media game is always changing. And now it's all about like reels and TikToks and getting your hooks right and making sure the video's engaging.
So hashtags are dead.
Hashtags aren't dead. They'll still help.
So outdated.
But
Chloe said use 6.
6?
3
yeah,
to 6.
now
You
it's
told
that,
me
now it's
29.
lower. No, it's
It
lower
used
now.
to be.
It's changed.
Oh my gosh.
It's changed because now they like will, and this is gonna change all the time. They say they pull stuff from like your captions now, so you're supposed to like write more on your captions. That is relevant to what you're trying to share with.
I can't wait to hire this out someday.
This is why I'm exhausted with social media. Like
Yeah.
I also get exhausted trying to post constantly on there.
Same. I was a firecracker in 2020 and 21. But like since then, I have fallen and gotten back on the
You're
horse.
busy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a good
you're
problem.
busy with the actual work you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You're not in your Quick Trip pajamas doing weird
Well,
dances
she
or
kind of
whatever.
is still.
Yeah, no. But yeah, Shelby, though, you're really good at posting on social media.
I just love it. Like that was my job before I quit and did this. So I've like always loved that. So it comes easily to me.
So Sam, how can our followers and listeners support you? How can they hire you? How can they see what you're up to?
If you're interested in learning more about what I do, please follow me on Instagram at Samuel Lee, SAMUELLI, Samuel Lee, not Sam Ueli.
Oh, there's no dot?
There's no dot.
Oh my gosh.
No
Okay.
dot.
Okay.
Follow me on social media. If you want to be involved on a production, reach out to me. There's no promises that I will respond because so many people reach out to me. But if you are a talented individual that wants to work together, please reach out to me.
I'll be reaching out.
We can be the
Yeah.
plus ones in the back.
We'll just be in the background.
You know, I don't know where my journey's going. Like, I'm still figuring things out, but I
Full
would love
speed
for-
ahead.
Yeah, I would love for everyone to follow along.
Love that.
Great. You guys can find our podcast at Screw It, Let's Do This on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube.
And listen, if you're on YouTube or if you're not on YouTube, go on YouTube, subscribe. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we have a special surprise.
Click that bell, hit that subscribe button.
Pew, 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 pew.
We're giving away $10,000.
No, Sam is.
Sam will be.
We'll be giving away.
But not
Thanks,
us.
Sam, for the opportunity.
You can find me at Mickey's Bakes.
And you can find me at Tricky Foods. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
We have Barack Obama on next week.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.